You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
Sorry.
All right, let's move on to Haywire then.
Haywire, yeah, I want to talk about this one. This is interesting.
I do too.
Give us some background on that one, sir.
All right, it's directed by Steven Soderbergh.
Yes,
and it has MMA.
He's hit and miss. He is
very hit and miss. It has MMA star Gina Carano. And she is CIA, the best, trained by the CIA, and they double-cross her.
Mm-hmm.
They double-cross her, and the film, its entirety, is pretty much her seeking revenge for anyone that did the double-crossing. And
so
it stages its way through the film where you figure out little bits and pieces of what's going on.
I wanted to cut you off and just say, so it's spy movie plot B.
Pretty much.
Okay. I just wanted to jump in there.
Soderbergh has this, he's got this soft spot for lead actresses that have never worked in film.
Mm-hmm.
Gina Carano has never really been in anything. This is her debut, film. She's not terrible, but she's not great either. Sasha Grey, porn star Sasha Grey, he had her in his low-budget indie film, The Girlfriend Experience, where she had zero acting experience other than porn, and he put her in that film.
Well, you know what, and I really respect an ingrained filmmaker who makes a film like this and doesn't pick a well-known actress, because remember that time period where Ashley Judd was in every goddamn movie?
Yep.
It was like 2 or 3 solid years of every 3 months was, here's the Ashley Judd film where she's running in sweatpants. She even did
a TV movie or a TV series where she's going after her son, and it's the exact same thing. I have to find my son.
And, some of these actresses, once they become action actresses, like Angelina Jolie, or for a while, what's her name? Ashton Kutcher's Demi Moore. For a while, she was the action star with G.I. Jane and all that. And they saturate it because they was like, here's a woman, a tough woman that the public doesn't mind. The public doesn't mind a tough woman. Just get one that can actually act. That's the fucking question.
The biggest problem I had with her isn't anything to do with her, other than the fact that Soderbergh and I guess their tech heads decided to make her a little bit more tough by deepening her voice.
Yeah.
Now, in the opening shot of the film, where she's in the diner and she's got her tea and she's drinking her tea and she looks all cute and she even sticks her tongue in the corner of her mouth, and she does that too much in the film, where she bites her lip or she sticks her tongue in the corner of her mouth, where it's supposed to convey
I didn't think so.
like
I disagree.
This cuteness and sexuality. I thought it was annoying, and
I disagree.
I noticed it at every turn. Believe me, I think she's cute as hell, but
I don't think she overdid it at all. And I thought she spent a majority of the film walking through Stoneface, and those little glimpses of that was like a glimpse of the, I mean, come on. If you're going to criticize her for her smirks, can we criticize Ewan McGregor for all of his smirks? Because he's fucking smirking in every goddamn scene. So, I mean, I disagree. I think she spent a lot of the film straight-faced and masculine in tone and stature. And I think the times where she does let slip a little femininity just reveal the fact that she's not this, like, Steven Seagal let's walk through the scenery action star and actually is somebody with a personality.
Well, I think that's where you're wrong. I think she was coached. I think she was coached into saying, "Hey, why don't you give me a little, bite your lip in this scene, or
Sure,
why don't you,
yeah.
I'm
not saying it was accidental. I'm saying it's
it
part of
didn't
the
feel,
film.
it didn't feel genuine to me. It just felt like it was forced because she's supposed to be this tough character, and they wanted to show this little bit of, femininity with her, and I didn't buy it.
I thought it was a nice touch. I liked it.
Oh, good for you. Don't get me
Also-
wrong. I'm not going to, kick her out of my bed for having crumbs in there. But, it just... listen, where I was going with it was they what did I say?
No, go ahead. No, continue, sir.
They deepened her voice, which I think was completely unnecessary. Okay? In the opening scene where she's at the diner drinking her tea, she talks to whatever his name is, Channing Tatum or something, whatever his name is.
Channing Tatum, which is the most. Every time I say that name, I just feel like I just said something. It's a horrible name.
It is a horrible name.
Channing Tatum.
When he was in the original G.I. Joe, I was like, this guy ain't gonna fucking do anything. He's just some douchebag from Alabama. And next thing you know, he's in like back-to-back $100 million movies. It's like, when the fuck did this happen? And now he's one of the hottest, most sought-after actors. It's like, let's put this guy in a movie. I don't care how you get him, just get him. How did that happen?
I don't know. I don't see the.
He's a terrible actor.
You know what? There's this type that they're looking for that they keep checking. Like, I can't tell him apart from the guy that played Captain America to the guy Taylor Kitsch.
Chris Evans. Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah, honestly, I keep mixing them up. They all look the same. They just pick these guys who are big and broad enough, and are, I guess, they have the same kind of attractive facial features. However you're gonna. It's like they fit this mold and they take them. I can't tell the bastards apart. There's like nothing separating them from one another in my mind because they're really just the same guy playing. If they killed two of them, they could save so much money and just pay the one guy to do all the movies. That's the only reason they have three of these guys, because they can't make them film simultaneously.
Sure.
I mean,
well, anyway,
yeah.
No, I was just going where I was going with that.
What was that?
It's, with them deepening her voice. It's just unnecessary. She talks in that scene in her regular voice. You can tell it's not dubbed, and there's nothing wrong with it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with it. And then, the next scene, she's talking, and it's clearly dubbed. Mm-hmm. And then there are scenes where, again, she's talking in her normal voice. And then, for the most part, I'd say 85% of this film has her voice dubbed. There's very few times that her voice is natural, but when it is, there's nothing wrong with her natural voice. So I don't totally understand why. I don't understand why they did it.
I agree.
She comes off sounding like China from the WWE when her voice has been deepened that way.
And it's that I guarantee.
And she's too pretty for her voice to sound that way.
I have two words for you: test audiences. I guarantee
and
somewhere along the line.
You're going to be right with that. There's no you're definitely going to be right with that. It's how they got them to change Bane's voice for The Dark Knight Rises. Test audiences said they couldn't understand it. It was too even from the trailers.
It wasn't Sean Connery enough.
Oh, shut up with that. I mean, I'm so done with that. I'm so tired of defending the fact that he doesn't sound like Sean Connery.
I think you should stop doing that.
I think you should stop bringing it up.
But it's so fun.
He doesn't sound like Sean Connery. Anyway.
You're my permission to die.
See, when you do it like that, it sounds like Sean Connery. That's not how he does it.
It really does.
It really doesn't.
Now, and what's surprising is it's probably test screening some fucking yokel that a handful of yokels they dragged off the street. Because the biggest problem with these test screenings is they bring people in who didn't want to see the film. It's a cold screening. They just we're gonna bring to see an action film. All right, they don't know anything about the film. They didn't choose it. It's like if you're sitting in your couch and you just turn on a random movie. If it's not your kind of film and you're not in the mood to watch that film, you're gonna criticize stupid shit on it. It's because you're not involved in the first place. And it's sad that they would make a change that's so, let's make the voice deeper, a little less feminine, more masculine, because I felt the film really broke a lot of conventions. Like if you take this film and compare it to like one of the Bourne Identity films,
Right.
one of the things that impressed me the most about this movie, besides the fact they picked a woman with big breasts, because you don't in like a film like this, like an action movement film, you usually go for a
Right.
smaller build, and the fact that she's got a decent rack on her.
Well, she's got a full build, and she's actually not made her weight class for her MMA fights because of it. Because she does have that full curvy, very sexy type of body structure.
Right.
And she's got, pretty much D's sexy. There.
Curvy. Yeah, she's got a rack. So I mean that kind of stuff usually they get the more, Juliet Roberts looking types for these kind of action roles. So that's a nice break from the mold. And what really impressed me was the fight sequences.
Yes, they were.
Am I alone on this?
No, they were choreographed by her. She had a choreographer, but obviously because she's an MMA fighter, it was very easy for her to, help choreograph these scenes properly. I
mean, speaking of Sean Connery, she takes more punches to the fucking more body blows and face punches than his last wife. I mean, it's just amazing, and you feel when she fights Michael
Fassbender.
Thank you, Fassbender. When she fights Fassbender,
yeah,
every punch, every slam, when she hits him with that.
And how about the sexiest leg lock you ever saw? Runs in the stockings and everything. If I'm gonna go, I'll go that way.
Well, he went with a pillow over the face and he
didn't die that way, but she just suffocated him, so he passed out.
He might have had the woman's legs wrapped around his head, but he died taking a load to the face. That's all I'm gonna say.
There you go.
You felt every punch, and when she hits him with that vase, like alone, and then I read later that she wasn't supposed to hit him with the vase. She was supposed to miss.
Oh, really?
It's on the IMDb trivia. It says that she was really into the scene, and so instead of she was supposed to throw it and miss him, but she got so hepped into it, she just like clocked him with it.
Well, you could tell she was into the scene when she kicked him through that glass door, and she was literally. If anyone out there has watched MMA, you could tell that she was in an MMA stance when she kicked him through that door, because when she did the follow through and she put her leg back down, she was totally in an MMA stance to. Come on, get up. I'll fucking do it again. You know what I mean? That's well.
I'm going to stop you and ask you what the fuck MMA is.
Mixed martial arts. UFC.
Okay, thank you. UFC. All right. That's all.
I'm surprised I even had to explain that.
Well, I don't follow
but
that
that's
shit.
Okay. I don't really follow it either. But I know what the fuck it is.
I'm slowly removing myself from certain parts of society, and that's one of them. That's one of them. That's
it's I can better than boxing. That's all I'm gonna say. It's better than boxing.
I could tell there was a football, like a local college football game last night in my neighborhood. Not because I had any knowledge of sports in the area, but when I was on the street around 6 p.m., all the cars on the left side of the street were gone, and when I came back out at 8:30, 9 o'clock, there were drunk people on the sidewalk. So that's a clue. But I don't know what's going on with sports and fighting and stuff. Mixed martial arts, maybe I should have known, but normally in my realm, you say mixed martial arts, you don't say MMA, because I just don't. That's why I didn't know. I'm not.
That's how it's commonly referred to as MMA.
And that's the fact. It's common. That's why I don't know about it. But I mean. Not just the fact that they were well choreographed and done, but you have to give credit to the filmmaker, because Soderbergh, he does, again, you take that action sequence and compare it to any other action sequence, and like take the last three, take Mission Impossibles, take the Bourne Identities. It's very just straightforward. Okay, the camera's here, we're watching. There's cuts, there's movements, but it's not flashy. When stuff breaks, it breaks and we move on. In the beginning of the film, the music was so overpowering. Do you remember the opening, like the first 10, 15 minutes of the film?
Yeah.
And it really ham-fisted. It's like, this is the part, this is the action theme, bum, 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 bum. And I was really worried. It's like, oh, this whole film's going to have this, like, just ham-fisted, okay, here's the music that tells you this is the exciting part. And when it gets to the fight sequences, he just dials it down. Says, all right, here, that's it. We don't need that. You know what's going on. Here's the action. Have fun. And it really impressed me. There aren't that many action films that I'll watch these days where I just recently saw Mission Expendables.
Mission Expendables.
Yeah. I recently saw Expendables 2,
How
which
was
we're
that?
not. Well, in the first 10 minutes, there's so much bloody death and violence, body parts like everybody they shoot just explodes. It's awesome, but again, after a while, you just get to the point where okay, here's the fun action sequence, and here's another action
You're just numb
star.
to it.
Yeah, you get a little numb to it. It was a good film. I'm not saying it's bad. It was the bad plot. Bad plot.
Really?
It's worth it for Jean-Claude Van Damme. Not only it's worth it to watch him play a bad guy, and it's worth it to watch Sylvester Stallone chain whip him at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's some good action sequences, and if you can handle the extent that they go to really have fun with the fact that Bruce Willis and Schwarzenegger are in it,
Right.
and the whole Chuck.
And how
Norris
much are
thing,
they in it? Is it a little better than Cameo?
a little better than Cameo. Chuck Norris shows up 2 or 3 times just so they can make some Chuck Norris jokes. There's actually with Bruce Willis and Schwarzenegger, they squeeze in the Expendables 2, they squeeze all of the movie reference jokes in like a 5-minute span.
Oh, no kidding.
They literally just wait for like the middle of an action sequence and just have them going back. I'll be back, and it's like, oh, you've been back enough. I'll do it, and then just back and forth. Oh, where's Rambo now? Just nonstop for like 5 solid minutes, just nothing but jokes about the fucking movies, and then they let it go.
Well, it's good. That's the way you should do it.
And again, it's they did it for fun, and that's great.
Right.
All I'm saying is like the action sequences in Haywire were taken seriously, the fight sequences.
Right.
And
yeah,
you just
absolutely.
there was no illusion to it. You felt like you were watching a real fight, and that Fassbender. And I also like the fact that since she is a woman and since she is a smaller woman, even though she's strong and knows her stuff, every other move that these big guys do with her involves picking her up and just slamming her down. And like when she's fighting Tatum and Fassbender, literally every other move is okay. I'm going to pick her up, throw her across the room. She comes back, pick her up, and throw her down. They throw her around like a rag doll, and it makes perfect sense. And you can even see her, as you say, as a mixed martial arts expert, saying, "Yeah, you're going to grab me and throw me because you can." It's really. Sure. I recommend the film just for that. I mean, the saddest part of the movie is the suspense part.
Yeah.
Where there's like twists. You know what's happening, right?
Sure. Oh yeah.
There's
really no guessing.
No.
I mean, there's the plot is thin in that regard.
Very.
You see it coming every step of the way.
Mm-hmm. And
they try and make it. They try and make it that what is going on? Why did they double cross her? You know why they double cross her, pretty much from the get go. Mm-hmm. And then when they explain it at the end, it's like, well, duh.
and you see the double cross coming. Like the minute they say, "Oh, I want her for the job," says, "Oh, there's a double cross coming."
Yeah,
it's just.
I mean, and they say it in the trailer that she's double crossed, and that's the whole point. But it just. They
don't even say. Shouldn't every trailer like this now start with "She was the best she was at what she did. The government used her for everything." Then they
double crossed her. Oh yeah.
They just Yeah. Go see the film.
You know how this goes.
Yeah, Born Legacy. They made him what he was, to use him to fight for good and justice, and then, I have to give that film a great compliment, though. One of my big problems with movies is that they start them in the middle of the film.
Yes.
They'll show a scene from the middle of the film, and then they have to go back and show you the beginning again. And it's this whole idea of we have to start with an action sequence. We have to start with something to show you with the film, and I hate that. The fact that
Well, when this film came out, or the week or two before it came out, they released the first 9 minutes of the movie, which is that opening scene in the diner.
Right. I mean, which
is never good. When they show you that much of the film, it's never good. It was a January release. They obviously didn't know where to put it. And Soderbergh just said, fuck it, we'll put it in January. It made its money back, but it could have done better later on.
Yeah, but it's not a huge blockbuster movie. It's just a nice, well-made little. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it would have been direct to video, maybe instead. Who knows?
Probably.
Now, but what I'm going to say is the fact that it starts off with the opening with a scene from the middle of the film, and then instead of just saying, okay, now we're going to go back to beginning, he writes it into the screenplay. The whole beginning is when you watch the film. I'm not really ruining anything. She takes one of the people that helps her in the beginning, and there's a little scene that technically happens in the middle of the film, and then she's telling him what happened in the beginning of the film. So we're watching a flashback as she's telling the story, and that's the reason she does that is part of the plot of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So the flashback, the taking it out of sequence at taking a thing from the middle and showing it at the beginning out of sequence that shows the action sequence, actually becomes a plot device. Kudos to Soderbergh for at least giving me a reason to have to see the action scene from the middle of the film first.
Right. No, agreed.
Agreed. That's good screenwriting right there. That's what happens when you actually think and not just.
I wouldn't doubt that the reason why it was released in January was because it didn't test well, because of things exactly like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
They deepened her voice too much. I bet you say test audiences might have asked for it, and I don't know. I just get this feeling that they did that on their own, test audience or not. I don't know why. She did an interview on Opie and Anthony, and the whole interview, she has a maybe her voice is just too pretty. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what they felt it was. I didn't think so, personally, but maybe they felt that's what it was, and that's why they enhanced it. But she did that interview, and it was great. I just thought she was very articulate, and her voice, I didn't think there was one thing wrong with it.
If they plan that from the beginning, you don't do voiceover, you don't loop it. You get a voice trainer and train her to talk deeper. You don't have her going after the fact.
And that's the thing. They asked her in this interview, they said, do you know they deepened your voice? She said yes. And they asked her, did you approve of that? And she said, well, listen, this is my first movie. This is my big break. I'm not really going to question it. She kind of beat it around the bush, but she basically said, yeah, I'm not going to question it. It's okay. And that's pretty much it. But
again, if you go into it knowing that, you don't fix it in post. You fix it in pre-op, or beforehand. You do voice training.
Sure.
I guarantee it's test audience. Either that or an executive saw it and said, "Why is she talking like Minnie Mouse? Give her a set of balls while you're at it." Something like some bullshit. Somebody who doesn't fucking know film. The producers. But that's, I think it has a lot of star power in it because it was a
they're all Soderbergh favorites. Soderbergh's worked with all of them.
Yeah,
that's why that's why he was able to get them.
But also, I don't think you do it just because it's Soderbergh too. I think a lot of them liked the screenplay, liked it that it was a subdued. It was like Bourne Legacy toned down a couple notches and done straight.
Yeah.
That was
I do think if Soderbergh calls you, you say, well, let me see if I can do it. Sure, I can do it.
You say Lucas is on the other line. Please hold.
That's what I would do. It would be a stupid move, but that's what I would do.
Soderbergh's respected and well known, but he's not the elite. Okay, let's not.
Come on. He's worked with a lot of big names. And
but he's not one of the big power players. I don't think.
No, he's not. But I think if he calls someone and they have the time, they'll do it for him. If he calls Brad Pitt, Brad Pitt's doing his movie.
You're gonna fight me on this.
Yes, I am.
I'm just saying they did the film because they thought it was good. You can't let me go with that.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
This is not a January film.
No, I don't agree with that. Yes, I agree that it's not a January film. Yes,
it should not have been released in January.
I think it was misplaced. I don't think they knew where to put it. I think they might have tried to put it somewhere else. It couldn't, and they just said, fuck it.
It was a film they didn't understand because it didn't look like the 20 other ones that came before it. They didn't know what to do with it. They threw it in January because they assumed if we don't understand it, no one does.
Right.
It's way too typical. And That's it. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I'd watch it again just for the just fight scenes. Yeah. And I like Antonio Banderas with the beard. I really do.
I'm indifferent about that. I don't care about it.
Oh, yeah, I really like his.
I mean, it looks like he like was growing that beard for a while when Soderbergh called him. It's like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. I've been growing this beard for a year.
Could be a fake beard too. They do that.
It looks pretty fucking good. Usually, you can tell a fake beard.
They do them pretty good now too. And they give awards out for that stuff. I'm not saying it's not his. I'm just saying that it doesn't.
No, they do that, but I've seen some high budget films with some pretty bad looking fucking beards. Just take Forrest Gump, for instance. Huge budget, horrible fake beard.
I don't think they cared about that. They were too busy worrying about getting JFK in the background.
You're probably right.
I mean, but honestly, in just looking at Soderbergh stuff real quickly, I mean, I didn't watch this stuff early on. Sex Lies and Videotapes. I never cared about that. Never got into it. You know what? The first film of his I liked, and it actually is a good comparison to this. It's almost like he went back and did the same type of film. Did you ever see The Limey?
No, I know of it, but I've never seen it. I thought you were actually going to say Out of Sight.
No, that's the one that came out before The Limey, and Out of Sight was yeah. And I never seen Out of Sight, to be honest.
Me neither.
I know missed
of
that.
it,
No,
but I've never seen it.
The Limey. See The Limey. It's the same thing. It's understated. It's slow. It's kind of a tad artsy, but it's just when it's brutal, it's fucking brutal, and it's not wacky, crazy brutal. It's just straight brutal. And I think that's why he does the Ocean's movies so well, is because he knows how to do understated but still have an impact.
Well, that second Ocean's film was pretty bad.
That was all screenplay. That was the screenplay sucked. That's why that was bad.
That was
shitty. Fucking
the third one was
screenplay.
very good.
I liked the third one a lot, and I didn't even want to see it after the second one, but I liked the third one a lot, and I like his stuff more than I don't. I still haven't seen The Good German, but fucking Michael Clayton, say no more.
German? Oh, okay. Yeah. I to this day I still like Traffic. I like that one.
I disagree with you.
I like Traffic. I
did
thought
not like Vic.
For what it was worth, I thought that was very good.
Too simplistic.
And sometimes that's what you need.
No, you know what? No, it's not what you need. You know what?
Sure it is.
No. Here's the deal. Okay. Remember when I finally got around to watching Crash?
Yes.
Not the Scar fucking one, but the racial inequality one.
You mean not the Cronenberg film?
Right, it's the same thing.
Okay. It is.
That was a film that handled like complicated issues and tried to resolve them, but didn't give you a lot of clear-cut answers. I felt Traffic showed like the intricacies of the problem, and then at the end just said, "Oh, here's the answer." And I wasn't hating the film into it, but that ending fucks the whole. And he's like, "Oh no, we're gonna fix everything and be okay." What the fuck? No, that's the whole point. The whole point of the film is not that. Don't give me hope at the end. Don't give me fucking hope.
Come on, I think you're reading into it too much.
No, I'm really not.
Most of the film is just depressing as fuck. It's got a lot of issues with its characters. They're all fucked up. The Douglas's daughter is getting gangbanged or by some fucking drug dealer. It just
ass to ass.
It wasn't as good as that scene, but but no, I mean you want. I thought for what it was worth, for the most part, it was a good film. Just
like the end of Rubber, it copped out. You don't make a film about the hopelessness.
Movies,
no, but here's my point. You don't make a film about the intricate, overwhelming hopelessness of the idea of a drug war, and then at the end just give me like bald face hope. So, oh no, everything's gonna work out fine. Fuck you. That's just such a fucking cheat. They don't do that in Crash. Crash doesn't like come out and say, oh, everything's fine. It says no, things are fucked up, but look around. Maybe we can make it out. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Crash is just as hopeful at the end, but fuck him.
No.
Yeah,
No.
That's where it loses it for me. That's why I never really cared for Traffic. That's why when he switched over to, between Ocean's 11 and Aaron Brockovich, I thought Traffic was just like, I don't know. That's as verbose I can get on that one. I don't know.
So what are we rating Haywire?
Wow.
I think 6 is too low. Almost 7.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to say 7 is too high.
Hold on. First, tell the audience where it's at. We're at 5.9 on IMDb.
It's 5.9.
Currently with 38,000 votes. I agree with you. I think 5 is way too low.
6 is way too low.
Let's put it this way. If we were going to call this a perfect film, a 10, because it's a good movie. So let's start at 10 and take off points. We'll take off 1 star for the voice deepening.
Okay.
All right. And I want to take 1 star off for the ham-fisted music during like the first, during the opening half.
Okay.
Because it was really distracting. It was really basic, like canned, made-for-TV drama action sequence. So I didn't like that.
It was.
So that knocks us down to an 8.
Okay.
Do you feel comfortable with 8, or do you want to remove a star for any other reason?
I think 8's too high. I think once you get into 8, you're getting into.
I agree.
I don't want to say Oscar territory because that's not the right term I'm looking for, but I think you know where I'm going. I think 8 is way too high. If I could do a half point, if I could do a 7.5, I would.
This way, would you rate? Would you rate when I think 8 or
Knock
higher?
a point off for that stupid hairstyle she had at the end scene.
I disagree. I like.
I hated it.
When you say 8, I think Good Will Hunting. I think stuff like that. Let me put it this way: would you give Forrest Gump an 8?
No.
Thank you. 7 it is. All right. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page there. There's no fucking way would I give Forrest Gump an 8 or higher.
I think I'd have a hard time giving it a 7.
Because it's in height. You're listening to
Excuse me.
Moviesucktastic. We're going to sign off before Joey dies here. You can go to Moviesucktastic.com for all your Moviesucktastic needs. You can go to Facebook and catch our Moviesucktastic there. You can check out our podcast on iTunes, or you can go to the website and check it. You can go to Movio. You can go to livestream.com to see our live video podcast.
That's right, everybody.
You can go to Amazon.com and look up S. Michael Wilson's books and buy them. We do have links on the Moviesucktastic site too. You can go to IMDb and look for S. Michael Wilson because I'm on there now, and I'm so excited about that.
Yay! You can leave us email. Where can they leave us email, Scott?
Scott at movies. No, that's
No.
the movie guys at Moviesucktastic.com.
Where can they leave us voicemail?
On the phone.
At 908-514-4470.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Did you mention iTunes?
I did. iTunes. Moviesucktastic.
Okay.
Also be sure to tune into our sister podcast, Strangers in a Strange Land, where we talk about everything else but movies.
That's
but
right.
Occasionally movies.
Once in a while, it just happens to just pop in there.
Right. And just remember, folks, never go full retard.
Never. All right, we'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.